Good evening and welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, April 27. If you are watching live on Monday, April 27, we encourage you to call in if you have comments or questions. Our call-in number is 769-1677. Our next regular meeting is 2 weeks from today, Monday, May 11 at 8 p.m. With a work session that begins at 7. As always, you can watch us live on Verizon and Cablevision cable TV and also at pctv76.org. And within a few days, you can pick up an on-demand webcast of our board meetings and all past board meetings, also at pctv76.org. And a few announcements, and the pctv76.org is a perfect segue for those of you who are not aware of it. Our partner in this venture of communicating with the public is PCTV, and they have a benefit event that is taking place next weekend, honoring recently retired trustee Jonathan Cunningham. So we don't normally make a pitch on behalf of organizations, but PCTV is a close affiliate of the village government, and we encourage anybody who might be interested in supporting that and also honoring Jonathan to log on to pctv76.org, and you can read more about it. Time is of the essence because the event is next weekend. A couple of other things I wanted to mention. There were several events last week worthy of note. Last Wednesday night there was a Chamber of Commerce dinner honoring this year's award winner for the Business Person of the Year, which is Mike Marchica of Eye Fetish Optique, which is the eyeglass store at the corner of Manville Road and Wheeler Avenue. Mike has been in the village 15 years now, hard to believe. I remember when he arrived. Runs a wonderful store, and we were very, very happy to see that he was honored as Business Person of the Year by the Chamber of Commerce. Also went on Friday over to Pace University on behalf of the annual Pace Relay for Life, where they raise quite a bit of money for the American Cancer Society. An impressive operation, as always, with a whole lot of Pace students who arrive in the late afternoon at the Goldstein Gym and stay there till 4 in the morning. Those may be regular hours for college students, but it's impressive to me nonetheless. Really a great program, and worthy of note that it goes on every year at around this time, and they also welcome the participation of anybody else in the community who would like either to go to the event or to sponsor it. So congratulations to Pace for that, and congratulations to Pace on the ribbon cutting of the new Kessel Student Center, which took place a few days before that. Pace is in the midst of a major redevelopment of their campus. The first phases of it are now nearly complete. They have built a new environmental center. They have substantially expanded and renovated the Kessel Student Center, and they're well along with the construction of a new dormitory. The plan also includes new fields and a new field house down on the athletic wing of the campus. That is also up and running, a little behind schedule because of the tough winter, but really quite remarkable stuff that is going to produce a dramatically changed campus landscape, dramatically changed campus facilities, and nothing but delighted to have that on the fringes of the village border. It's actually just outside the village, but it's called Pace Pleasantville for a very good reason, because it's closely associated with us. So that was a great event as well. I also mentioned last time, but want to let people know that the storefront at 48 Wheeler Avenue, formerly the home of Joe Stargiotti in his day job, has now moved upstairs.
I think just to let it happen.
Has now occupied by the Gordon Parks Foundation. The Parks Foundation is the steward of the archive of the work of Gordon Parks, who was a landmark photographer in the United States, perhaps the most important Black American photographer of the 20th century, as well as a documentary photographer of international importance. His entire archive now lives in Pleasantville, New York, and just last week, the storefront gallery, which is the small space in the front of the building at 48 Wheeler Avenue, open to the public. There is a small show there called Segregation Story, which showcases 8 or 10 works that Gordon Parks did on commission for Life magazine in 1956. And it's absolutely worth a visit, and to take a look also at the catalog. So the Gordon Parks Foundation anticipates having a rotating program of exhibitions every 3 or 4 months. So it will be a place that people should keep on the radar screen and stop by periodically. The hours are on the window. Admission is free. It's another jewel in the crown of Pleasantville's arts activities. Pleasantville Recycles was here last week, and they will be doing their sports swap day. Do you recall the date of the swap? Yeah, here it is, Saturday, May 2.
May 2.
May
Yeah.
2nd is the collection.
Okay,
Is the
so,
collection, and then they,
So anybody who has leftover sports equipment, the kids have outgrown it, the kids no longer need it. Saturday, May 2, the parking lot right down at the end of Village Lane near the fields and adjacent to DPW, they will be down there Saturday, May 2 from 9 to 3. Pretty much anything that is in the used sports equipment and bike category. They do not accept helmets or skis, so leave those home. They will collect all this stuff, and then they have a table and a booth on Pleasantville Day and give it all away to people who can use it, and anything that's left gets donated to other worthy organizations. So it's a program they've run a number of years running. It's just a great thing. It's absolutely amazing how much stuff they collect, and also absolutely amazing how quickly it goes to people who have good uses for it elsewhere. So Pleasantville Day is coming up, Saturday, May 16. The Pleasantville Day Committee is a new group with all kinds of new ideas. There are going to be some new food activities, some new vendors, some new opportunities for kids, new rides, climbing wall, Patty, that ended up, right?
Climbing wall, Euro bungee, and a human foosball game.
oh, that's so much fun.
And then for younger kids, there'll be a kids' activity area that is this year sponsored by Camp Kiwi. The older kids' activity area is generously sponsored by the Pleasantville Chamber of Commerce. Great stuff going on there as well. So Saturday, May 16 is Pleasantville Day, and worth a look. We do not get enough opportunities to thank Ginny Brentano, who was the long-standing chairperson for Pleasantville Day. She's hung up her spurs after many, many years, and did a great job, and deserves our thanks for hanging on for all those many years and doing so much work. So
Always with grace, Jenny.
thank you, Ginny Brentano, and thanks to Petro Zorgman and Peter Rogovin and Marlene Knappe, who have been working on the new Pleasantville Day, as well as the folks down in our rec department, Linda Bellafato and her team. So segue from there, Saturday, July 11 is the Pleasantville Music Festival. This past week, they announced 6 of the bands in the lineup with headliners Gin Blossoms, G Love and the Special Sauce, and Marshall Crenshaw. You should get yourself to PleasantvilleMusicFestival.com and take a look at all that's going on. A great new website, an exciting lineup. Tickets are now on sale via Ticketmaster. So it is going to be a great day with all kinds of great energy. And as we have in the past, the 107.1 The Peak will be our broadcast radio sponsor on the music festival. So all kinds of great stuff is going on there. Anybody else have anything to add to that long-winded list I have just delivered?
Well, it really doesn't have anything to do with village business, but just how great this village is that there was a race this weekend at in Pound Ridge called the Leatherman's Loop, where you have to run through rivers and climb mountains, and Pleasantville was strong there. We had a very large contingent of Pleasantville people, and we all found our way to one another at the end of the race, and it was just a great time and a great representation for the village of Pleasantville. Just wanted to
Good
mention
news. The farm market continues to be indoors at the Pleasantville Middle School every Saturday from 9 to 1. That will go on through May 9. Then it is closed the week following for the transition to back to Memorial Plaza the week thereafter, which is, I guess, the 3rd week of May. So Pleasantville Farm Market, you can take a look at PleasantvilleFarmersMarket.com.
announce that we need
Go for it.
resumes for, we have openings on
Yeah.
our planning board and our architectural review board, so anybody that's interested could maybe forward a resume to Patty,
Right,
village
Patty
administrator.
and Judy, you can get
Judy.
the emails at pleasantville-ny.gov. But I think we have a position on the Planning Commission as well as a position on the Architectural Review Board, and would be happy to have applicants who are interested in that. So
It's a
thank you.
great way to get started
Yeah.
in the village and try to, just get involved, and anybody, we would really appreciate it.
All right. Any other announcements there? We have a group here from the Tina Gambino Foundation, and I am happy to welcome Michael Bloom to talk about the Tina Gambino 5K Run Walk. Back annually, bigger every
How
year.
come you keep getting older, but we're just getting younger?
Welcome, Michael.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Good evening, board members, guests in the village of Pleasantville. I'm here tonight to talk about the 5th annual Tina's 5K Run, Walk, and Fun Run. For the past 4 years, my family and the Gambinos have generated and sustained the race to be a successful community event. I approached the board tonight to ask if we could hopefully have a 5th prosperous race. I would like to give you some of the results and accomplishments of last year. We had more than 400 combined walkers, runners, fun runners, and volunteers, and we also raised over $9,000. Last year was also the second year we had the fun run, which was aided by Mr. Makuchi, who helped us organize the mile run, which takes place on the middle school, high school track. Nearly 100 kids showed up to run, which is amazing for only its second year. It's always great to hear the numbers, but what's even better is to know that the 5K was truly a community event, a goal we strive for each year. We had many volunteers as well as the bone marrow and blood drives, and people coming out just to watch the race and embrace the community spirit. This year we want the race to be even better. For this year's 5K, we are having the same route as the previous 4 years, which starts and ends at the high school. We are asking to have the race on the same day as the Ragamuffin Parade, as we have done for the past 4 years. The parade this year will very coolly be on the 31st, which is Halloween, of course, in October.
Ooh.
Having both events on the same day gives the entire town a great feeling of community. Hopefully we can continue this village celebration of not only the memory of Tina, but also the community itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Great news as
Is it
always.
we're having the Ragamuffin
Yeah.
on Halloween this year?
I believe that's.
Is that right?
Yeah,
That's the
well,
case.
because
That's
normally,
so unusual.
well, it's just, you have to wait every 7 years, I guess, for
And-
it to fall on
It's always
on
Well,
a Saturday.
actually
right?
on
last
that
Saturday
Saturday.
in
Yeah.
October, so that's where we are.
And the big thing last year was there was no blizzard or,
Yeah.
some...
No,
We actually had
natural
trick-or-treating for the
disaster.
first
Yeah,
time.
natural disaster. I mean, it was like, wow, it was really...
So, Michael, people should log on to tinagambino.org. What's the right way to go here?
Yes, that's the right way to go. There'll be links to sign up for the race. We wanted to get this in now
Yes,
because
5 Saturdays.
we're having a booth this year at Pleasantville Day as well as the music festival, so we want to start to get the word out early.
Okay, great.
You get the high school kids out, running.
Yeah.
Do you
definitely.
remember the first year you came here? You couldn't reach that podium. And
I had to lower the mic for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was-
So we're
And your
fearful.
voice sounded a little different, too.
we're fearful that you're going to graduate at some point and go to college. What are we going to do? Would you come back for this?
I will definitely come back to support the day of the race. I don't know what the future
We're looking
holds
for a
yet.
commitment here, Mike.
Yeah.
You got to do what every good administrator does. You have to groom somebody up.
Yeah, you got to groom somebody.
Have to
Find
find
somebody, so when you're a junior or a senior, they're starting to
Hand
get
it
into
off.
it, and then you're out and they're in, and it's great.
Definitely.
You're a great face for this.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you
great
so much
job.
for that update. Everybody should put that date in their calendar and also get to tinagambino.org to see about the other great stuff that goes on the foundation. Such a core Pleasantville activity.
And the
you were such a
gala
big part
this
of it,
year
so.
is on May 29th,
29th, yes.
which happens to be the Fireman's Parade. So you can do both things. Just get to the gala
Those are great
early so
those
you
are
can
great
pray.
connections. The Ragamuffin
Yes.
Parade and the
early and then just take a break, walk out.
Clap for the fire department and
All right. We're going to move Halloween to the same date as the gala. What do you say?
thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank
All right,
guys
thank you,
very,
Michael,
very much.
and thank you
You're all set, Michael.
to
Let me
the
know
Blooms,
if I
the
can
Gambinos. We're all set and happy to do that, and it's worthy of note that in addition to the synergies that Michael already referred to have the run walk on the same day as the Ragamuffin Parade, it also turns out to be a means by which we can take advantage of the fact that we have extra police to assist with the road closings for the Ragamuffin Parade, and they can also manage the fun run in the morning. So an efficient and happy way to support both of those good activities. The other thing that we have on our agenda before we get to a public hearing on a vehicle and traffic law is an update on the Community Choice Energy Aggregation Program. The minutes that we're approving tonight, which are for the meeting that was held on April 13, include a lengthy summary of the comments made by Mike Gordon, who represents Sustainable Westchester, describing a program that Sustainable Westchester has gotten approval from the New York State Public Service Commission to undertake. So back up slightly for those who missed that. I won't give you the whole drill, but the summary is useful, I think. Sustainable Westchester is a new organization that currently includes almost every municipality in Westchester. I think at last count it was 42 or so
42
out of 45 cities, towns, and villages are members of Sustainable Westchester. It represents the assembly of the former Northern Westchester Energy Action Consortium, of which Pleasantville was a member, with the Southern Westchester Energy Action Consortium. So those two groups came together and created Sustainable Westchester. It is a not-for-profit that is primarily focused on energy issues, as well as now expanding its scope to include some solid waste issues, some transportation issues, all seeking to create a more sustainable future. It is funded by $1,000 dues per member per year, which produces, as you can multiply yourself, $42,000 a year at the moment. And it has also, primarily through the work of the former Northern Westchester Energy Action Consortium, acquired a number of grants that have allowed it to undertake several projects, including a project involving solar energy, as well as a project that helps to support the process of homeowners getting energy assessments of their homes and then taking action to create a more efficient home. They have been working for a couple of years on the idea of community aggregation of energy, which is a little bit of a complicated story, but the short version goes like this. For many, many, many years, this area was served by Con Ed not only as a utility providing distribution of energy, but also generating the energy as well as delivering it. A decade or more ago, New York State, like a number of other states, deregulated the energy production environment, and instead of the former circumstance where the State Public Service Commission and a number of other regulatory agencies went through an extended process with utilities in New York State in order to accept their rate plans, instead now utilities like Con Edison are, just as Mike Gordon says, in the poles and wires business. Con Edison continues to deliver your energy, gas and electric, but Con Ed does not generate any of it. The idea at the time of deregulation was that it would give homeowners and businesses the opportunity to buy their energy from anyone they wanted, and potentially to produce savings for buyers who were savvy about that. That was one of the Achilles heels of the program, because big businesses that had huge energy bills became very savvy buyers, and almost all of them moved to an alternative energy supplier, a so-called ESCO. Homeowners, by and large, didn't, because it was difficult to navigate the process of figuring out who was offering you a deal and whether it really was a deal, and whether the promises that appeared to be being made in the offering were actually going to be durable. So as it stands right now, something like 75% of Westchester residents continue to buy their energy from Con Ed. Con Ed doesn't generate it, it simply buys it from somebody else and passes through the cost. Con Edison's rates for that are controlled by the state, and they are not permitted to make any money on the energy piece of the bill. And as a result, it's pretty apparent that utilities like Con Ed, obviously no criticism intended here, don't have any incentive to be very aggressive energy buyers, certainly don't have any incentive to be taking any calculated risks in their energy purchases. And as a result, as compared to the private market, the utility rates tend to have been higher. The idea behind this program is that Westchester.
That's not necessarily true. They're not tending to be higher on a, rollout basis all the time. That's,
I'm not sure what you mean by that. I mean, I think that
when you sign up for an ESCO, you could get a discounted rate initially, but then the ESCO kicks in at a higher price.
Right.
What that price is higher than.
Right. What I meant was, if you look, for example, at other states that have programs similar to the one I'm about to describe, the savings have averaged between 5 and 8% lower than the fees being charged by the poles and wires utility. So here's the short version. I've already droned on for a long time here, but here is the way this system would work. Sustainable Westchester is inviting communities that wish to participate to join a program called Community Choice Aggregation. If the Village of Pleasantville chooses to do that, all of the customers who are currently buying their energy through Con Ed would be aggregated into a pool of buyers that includes all such people in every community that participates. That pool of buyers would be presented to the private market. Sustainable Westchester, using their professional advisors, would identify an alternative energy supplier that will be, they hope will be less than Con Ed's rates. And if they identify one that meets those standards, all of the members of the community who have not chosen, who are still with the default provider, would have an opportunity to opt out from the plan if they chose to, but if they don't choose to opt out, would still receive their energy from Con Edison, they'd still receive their bill from Con Edison, they'd still receive all of their services from Con Edison. If there is a storm or an outage, Con Edison is still the supplier of that, but the energy piece of it would be sold to you, billed through your Con Edison bill by the ESCO under contract with Sustainable Westchester. Sustainable Westchester is required by the Albany Public Service Commission to publish the results of this so that you can actually see how the rates worked out as compared to the rates that Con Ed charged for a similar time period. Sustainable Westchester is optimistic at the moment that the circumstances in the market right now are right to generate a potentially favorable fixed price for some parts of the energy bill, but in no event will they sign a contract and enter into a contract that doesn't present a savings over the 12-month trailing average that Con Ed has currently charged. So if Pleasantville participates and Sustainable Westchester is successful in getting a bid that is favorable, everybody in Pleasantville who still is working with Con Ed for their energy supply would receive a letter with a reply postcard as well as a phone number. And if you choose to opt out, the means by which you opt out is a single return postpaid postcard or a single phone call. If you choose not to opt out, you would participate in this program and be able to follow on a website that's updated on a monthly basis how it worked out. So the idea is to aggregate users in the communities to gain both leverage in the market to get a better price, as well as to provide a layer of consumer protection that doesn't now exist when consumers are thinking about an ESCO on their own. So have I fairly described that?
Yeah, you did. The only part is that prior to the opt-out is that if Pleasantville decides to go in, the Sustainable Westchester will collect the data from the homeowners that are currently using and the businesses that are currently using Con Edison to gauge your usage so they can go put out a request for a proposal that will determine the energy use. So your, that account information will be given to Sustainable Westchester through Con Edison if the Village of Pleasantville signs up. That's just one point.
Not initially. The initial data is aggregated data, not any individual
They have to get
homeowner's
something
usage.
to go out.
It's
Yeah.
the aggregated data. So
Yeah, well,
Right.
they have to get the data.
Right,
They
well-
will get they will get the data that's being used in the Village of Pleasantville. They will gather that data. How they deliver it as a total or as they won't deliver it individually. They deliver it as a total to get the price.
Correct. X number of megawatts of energy, electricity,
that's
and X
right.
number of cubic feet of gas. At the point at which a contract would be signed, then Sustainable Westchester would receive the specific data because they need to, as would we, or need to reach out to the homeowners to let them know how the plan works and to give them the opportunity to opt out.
That's right.
The reason it's an opt-out plan as opposed to an opt-in is, I think, apparent, and that is that it's extremely difficult to get critical mass when people have to sort of sort through all of this and figure out whether they should do it or not. So,
Well, they have the ability to do an opt-in, but they choose not to because they're, according to the gentleman that spoke with us, people don't opt into it willingly. So
Is my
there's a
point-
lot of different reasons why. I mean, I view it as people don't do it because they don't want to do it.
Is
They
Mike
don't-
Gordon coming back?
no.
No.
To our meeting?
To our meeting?
No.
In the near future? No.
We could ask him to, but there's no plan for him to. So,
Just seems to me with all the explanation you gave, and that was great, and obviously there are differing opinions, but maybe it might be a good idea to invite him back one more time after having made that announcement and tell our community, hey, this is gonna happen on a given night.
well, there is a time factor at work here, and if we take an action on this, either to vote to approve this or not, at our meeting on May 11, that will allow us to meet the deadline that Sustainable Westchester has currently got of May 15 for communities to be in this group that goes out to market. Now, there was some possibility that Sustainable Westchester would extend that. Again, the issue for them there is they're trying to seize the opportunity when gas rates in particular are at extraordinary lows. So,
I just have a number of people inquired with me, and they asked what other initiatives the village has taken part in with Sustainable Westchester, previously the Northern Westchester Energy Alliance Coalition, Action Coalition. And I pulled, we joined in February 13th, 2012, we passed a resolution for the mayor to participate in the Northern Westchester Energy and Climate Consortium. And part of their goals were to, one of them was to get a lot of municipalities to participate in the Energize New York program, which unfortunately we didn't. I wish that we would have. It's really it's a very good educational program for homeowners. They can go on, they can, figure out how they can maybe better use energy and equip their homes in a better way. But
we have a new
did-
opportunity. We're actually about to do it, and then they lost their grant funding for it, although in recent months, a new grant has been provided, so we have
Okay,
a new
we
opportunity.
may still have the opportunity,
Right.
but I didn't have the answer to a number of these inquiries that I had about what other initiatives we have done with Sustainable Westchester, formerly NWEAC. So I didn't know if you had an answer to
Well, I've been the liaison to NWEAC, the former Sustainable Westchester, and have been to many meetings. We have not been a part of any formal program. In fact, there hasn't been such a formal program until now. As you rightly point out, Energize New York was a program that was available to communities, and in fact, we were about to sign on, and a website would have been created, and then they lost
Right.
funding for that piece of it. That looks like maybe we can get back to that now because Tom Bregeman reports that they have gotten their funding piece back in place. Again, that was a grant-funded piece. The other piece that they have going is their Solarize program, which is a solar energy piece. We looked at our opportunities to see whether there were municipal sites that were logical for solar energy. We did, as you know, our DPW garage, although that was not through NWEAC. But they were looking for communities to sign on for their Solarize program who had big flat roofs or big space, and we're a little short of all of that. So the answer is, although we've been a member since 2012, and I have been to many meetings, there hasn't been a formal program. They've been working on the community choice aggregation piece for at least 2 years, and filed an extended application, which is available, I think, still up on our website in the news section, Patty. And as I say, if anyone is looking to get a fuller description,
It's still on the
the
web.
agenda, the minutes for our meeting, our last meeting, will be up on the website as well. And Shane, am I correct that Mike Gordon's presentation at our previous meeting is up at pctv76.org?
Yes.
Okay.
And then what date was that on? He came in?
That was on April 13th.
Right, so if anybody's interested to really hear more about it in more detail, and he did answer a lot of questions, and he is obviously very knowledgeable about the program that Sustainable Westchester is promoting, go to pctv.org, pctv76.org, and go to the May 11th, I'm sorry, what date?
May 13th, April 13th was the meeting when he made the presentation.
Meeting, and you can watch his whole presentation. If you got any feeling one way or another, positive or in favor or against, let us know one way or another. Write a letter, come to a meeting, let us know your thoughts, because it's going to be coming up for a vote, I suppose,
Yeah,
soon.
a lot of people didn't get a lot of notice on that. The agenda went out Friday, and the meeting was a Monday, so there
But
wasn't a lot of...
I'd like to know what people think. If they're interested,
Yeah.
tell us,
That's right.
tell us.
Totally interested to hear what people think. I can tell you, I've been a sidecar to this as the NWAC liaison for a good long while, and it's my view that we should do this and that it's a really good opportunity. I say that because anyone who is interested in doing it and would like to participate, and is interested in the potential energy savings and also interested in having the professional advisors at Sustainable Westchester interjected between them and Enesco, can only have that opportunity if we participate. And the price paid for anyone who prefers not to participate is a single phone call or a single return of a postpaid envelope, and you stay with the default provider if you choose to. It's my opinion. I happen to be a person still with Con Ed for the very reasons already described. I don't know how to choose an ESCO, and am not certain how to respond to the direct mail pieces and periodic phone calls that we get, and so I have just stuck with the default
I
provider.
told you, Mr.
So-
Mayor, you gotta go on Con Edison's website.
So-
They have a step-by-step,
Right.
they
So-
really, it's like an ESCO for dummies. It's really, the
So-
fact that I could do it was,
As far as I'm concerned, this is an opportunity for lots of village residents to likely save some money on the energy portion of their bill. The transmission and service piece, which is charged by Con Edison, doesn't change because that's a service charge. So I'm personally of the view that it's a very good opportunity, and if for any reason whatsoever a community member doesn't like the idea, their opt-out is really just a single phone call. So that does not strike me as too high a bar to ask a community member to opt out if they choose to, in exchange for giving the members of the community who would like to have this opportunity the chance to participate.
I had one quick question. Have any other towns suggested they're going to be part of this? I mean, I know Lewisburg.
I think there are
joined,
three
right?
now: Lewisboro, Croton, and one other.
I don't remember which one, but there was
A third of it.
South
There's a
South
third?
Salem.
South
South
Salem.
Salem. Okay.
It's under discussion in quite a few communities.
Are you hearing any,
I mean, I think
getting a sense
I think
from-
some of the discussions have been similar to discussions we've been
Well,
having
yeah.
about how this goes. In part, it's obviously the energy markets are a complicated business, and energy prices are constantly varying. But as I think you guys, you obviously are more savvy in the financial world than I am. Jonathan Cunningham, recently retired trustee, has the same kind of background and was here the other night. I personally was quite impressed by Mike Gordon's knowledge of what was going on, and also by the care and caution that they intend to exercise. Was that your?
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. They seem to definitely understand where some of the potholes in the road may be.
Right. So
I think that was apparent with the change of vernacular that, they used from when they first launched it on a webinar to now, that they've adjusted the language.
And just to clarify, Mayor, Chair mentioned this already, but to stress it again, if I understood it right, Sustainable Westchester will only enter into one of these ESCO contracts if they find a competitive price. If they bid it out and for whatever reason they don't get anything back that looks like it's going to be, providing savings to the people that participate, then they don't do it, right? Did I understand that right?
That is absolutely
That's what
true,
he
and in
said.
fact, those are the terms of the pilot approval that the Public Service Commission in
Right.
Albany has laid down. The Public Service Commission has chosen Sustainable Westchester's application as the pilot program for New York State,
Right.
with the intention to try out community choice aggregation in Westchester and then likely to roll it out statewide. It's worth noting, and you can read in the details of our minutes as well as at PCTV76.org, a number of other states have done this. In the state of Illinois, a majority of residents are part of community choice aggregation programs. Likewise, community choice aggregation exists in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Jersey, in our neck of the woods. New York had up until now not had a regulatory mechanism that allowed it, but has responded to the petition of Sustainable Westchester to allow it on a pilot basis. So
Because it wouldn't pass through the legislature.
the other point, what do you mean by that?
The legislature didn't pass it. It was passed by the Public Service Commission. They passed it through. They made a special,
So the other point that Mike Gordon was clear on is that if you were to participate and did not opt out initially, you can opt out at any time, either to go to another ESCO or to go back to Con Ed as your default energy supplier. Unlike some of the contracts that exist with other alternative energy suppliers, the contract requirements that Sustainable Westchester will establish will mean that there are no penalties to leave. And so if you choose for whatever reason to leave, you are welcome to do so at any time. If you do leave, you may not come back at the same fixed rate if they are successful in getting a fixed rate, because the fixed rate will be for the pool of customers who were in the pool at the time of the contract. But you are also welcome to come back. In fact, you could go back and forth. I don't think anyone's imagining it makes any sense to do it, but unlike the circumstances with most other of the energy suppliers, in this case, you will have a mechanism that's required by the state regulations to actually log onto the Sustainable Westchester site and see how the rates worked out in the real world. So
right, that's how, the only way you could do your comparison is that you would have to log on to see what your rate is and then find out what the Con Ed rate is. I don't know how that is going to be, there's no way of you seeing that measurement from what I could say.
what do you mean?
According to Mr. Gordon, they will have a website where it will show what you're paying for your energy, but it won't have a comparison of what you would be paying if you stayed with Con Edison. I don't.
If maybe I misunderstood. I
How
believe
did
that
you
it will have that. In
You
fact,
do?
that was a requirement of the PSC enabling regulations.
So you log on to this website and you can see what you're paying and what Con Edison is charging.
I believe that's the case. I mean,
He
I have
said
to
he could
confirm
only
that.
upload that quarterly or yearly.
He
No, I
said
think
it's
he said
required
it's
by the,
quarterly.
he said it's
Yeah.
required by the PSC to be done yearly, but they intend to do it quarterly.
Okay.
And of course, that part of that gets at one of the problems and one of the reasons the adoption rate for private market energy has been so low, and that is you sign on with an ESCO and you don't really know how it worked out as compared to how it would have been with Con Ed. So I do think I have yet to encounter, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, I've yet to encounter anyone who does not believe that there is a significant opportunity here to unleash private market competitive forces to save some money over the default rates. And that, of course, was the idea that went into deregulation a decade or more ago in New York as well as in other states. I mean, the energy markets for decades were a construct of government that said, because you have a monopoly in providing this energy and delivering it, we're going to inject government between you and the rates. The idea of deregulation was to decouple the energy production piece of it and allow the private market to work its magic. So there is certainly a component of this that is about getting government out of the way of setting energy rates and allowing groups like this community choice aggregation piece to use the power of a big market. to get a better rate. One of the pieces of it that is very attractive to energy suppliers is that it would be a big bunch of customers represented by Sustainable Westchester with no acquisition cost. You don't have to have people standing at card tables at community fairs and sending direct mail and all of that to try to acquire each new customer. In this case, the customers would be represented as an aggregated group by Sustainable Westchester, and so the acquisition rate for the customers is very, very low, and Sustainable Westchester intends to leverage that to produce lower rates in the contract.
Right, I mean, it's a purchasing pool, right? It's anything, like anything else. If you're gonna go buy something in bulk, you're gonna get a lower price per unit than you would if you were buying it on your own. For me anyway, the key part of this is that we're getting government out of the pricing mechanism when buying individual energy packets, but the government would be including you in this pool, in this case us. So if Pleasantville does vote for this, it's important that people understand that they have to opt themselves out of it if they don't want the Board of Trustees in Pleasantville making that decision on their behalf. I think the end goal of this is very advantageous for everybody, and I do think that the end result will be lower energy bills. You just have to be comfortable with the process to get you there. That's it.
Yeah, so, and I understand that. I will say up front that I am an advocate for this program, and as I already mentioned, currently a Con Ed default energy buyer. And I certainly would vote with my feet because I think not only is it an opportunity to save money, but I think it's an opportunity to support a more efficient economy.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get, I don't see if Mike can come back in. I think that's a good idea.
Well,
If we can we get him in that same night?
I can
Is that-
ask him. I mean, I don't know if he can come back or
Yeah.
not. He's probably making the rounds of other communities that have the same question. So
Maybe
I will
let's
say,
call.
Nobody
although
else meets Monday nights.
I mean, he did a good job, I think, and
He did, I do agree with that. He did.
his comments are recorded in their entirety, and anybody who would like to see them can log on to pctv76.org, choose the April 13th meeting, and is that bookmarked, Shane?
It's right at the beginning.
It's right at the beginning of the meeting, so you don't have to suffer through our resolution. So
But
if you're
I-
really interested in this, I think it would be worth your time.
You have to be really interested in it because we're making a choice for you. And I have a lot of faith. I'm a woman of faith, and I have faith that people in this village are very smart and are capable of making their own choices. And when you have to opt out of something, to me, that's not a choice. So I respect what everybody else is feeling, but you really need to pay attention because you are putting your government in your home, purchasing your electricity for you, and your gas. So wake up and get involved, and if you like it, great, let us know. If you don't, let us know. A
Let us
lot of
know.
people have called me and emailed me and talked to me and told me to stay out of their business, and I respect that. And you need to make your voice heard. That's all.
So I respect that's Mindy's view of it. I would present that a little bit differently. The only people who are going to be offered this program are people who already get their energy through the utility that government chose for them. Con Ed is the government-regulated default energy. And exactly,
I mean,
because that's the way government created it. So the other point I wanted to make is I totally respect anybody's decision to decide whatever they want to do, and if we participate in this and they don't like the cut of the jib of the program, all you have to do is make a single phone call or return a postpaid postcard. So the failure of our board to participate in this deprives the community of the choice that Mindy was referring to, because if we don't agree to participate, you will not have the choice to participate in this or not.
Yes, you do. You can go and you can sign up for your own ESCO on your own, and you could probably save just as much money. So failure and denial are buzzwords for, that's unfair, I believe.
So how would you determine if you saved money with your own ESCO as compared to going to the website for Sustainable Westchester to see how the numbers worked out?
I'm sure you could do it the same way.
Except
sure
that
that ESCO
ESCOs
has
are not
the same way.
publishing their
And-
results
and-
as compared to Con Ed.
I don't know that for a fact.
Well, so there you have it, the long and the short of the discussion.
There you go.
You have anything else?
That's the
Anybody
debate.
want to add anything more to
It's
it?
your choice.
Let us know.
Yeah,
If you have a
Let us
feeling,
know.
okay.
let us know.
So, at any rate, I
Shut
can't,
the lights.
I
Just shut the
can't,
lights.
I can't say this with certainty, but we may elect to have a resolution on our next meeting, which is our May 11 meeting, for all of us to vote to participate or not. That would allow us to make this decision in time to participate in Sustainable Westchester's first call to the market. So,
Mayor, can I just interject? All of our resolutions are written in the affirmative. It's just our standard operating procedure, so I don't want anybody to think that anything's a fait accompli. But the resolution, if people see it, in advance of the meeting, will be one that opts,
To vote to
to
join it.
participate into the program.
Right.
Yes.
right, so in the event it's the vote of the five of us, Colleen is not here tonight, who would decide whether we participate or not. But as mentioned, if you don't like it, if we do participate and you prefer not to, you can opt out. So, no penalty of any kind. Anything, anybody else want to add? Or we'll jump to the public hearing.
I'm good.
All right, motion to open a public hearing on a local law amending Chapter 173 Vehicles and Traffic, Section 173-57, stop intersections at Sunnyside Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Welcome to an exciting public hearing. Patty, you want to describe the background here?
I do. We have been asked to take a look at the traffic control measures in place on Sunnyside Avenue in the vicinity of the railroad underpass, I guess you want to call it, or overpass. And we were advised by our traffic consultant that the stop signs that we use currently to regulate intermittent traffic passing through that one-lane tunnel are really not the appropriate traffic control devices. In fact, there really aren't any appropriate traffic control devices except warning signs that allow people to proceed, one lane at a time through a tunnel like that.
And appropriate is defined as the regulation spelled out in the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which is a big fat federal
True.
document.
Yes.
So that is the Bible for road signing.
So what we're recommending is removal of the stop signs that are codified right now in our village vehicle and traffic code, and replace that sign plan with an enhanced sign plan that advises motorists that there is a one-lane road ahead, and gives some visual cues as to how to approach that tunnel.
All right, I will comment for myself. I live in that neighborhood and have lived there for 28 years, and the stop signs, from my standpoint as a resident and a user of that one-lane bridge, have always worked fine. So that said, clearly when it becomes apparent to us that the arrangement we have is not consistent with the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, we're, I think, at least in my view, required to act on it. And so here you have a discussion of solving a problem that perhaps doesn't exist, but there you have it.
But could.
I mean, I would argue, and I'm no traffic engineer, and therefore, you can take my, I'm not advising that we do this. I honestly think we need to do what's being proposed here, but I can't see that we improve safety by removing the stop signs.
Right.
It seems like it's worked pretty well. You see a stop sign, you stop, you look, you realize there might be somebody coming. By and large, people are pretty courteous, one each way. Every now and again, someone scampers through when you think it was your turn, but overall, it's been working pretty darn well.
For like 30 years.
I dare say longer than that.
Never heard of
Yeah.
a serious accident.
I've never heard of an accident at all.
Yeah.
So,
But were we to have a problem there and it was not correctly
Absolutely.
signed, then
Right.
we have an issue, right?
yeah, I mean, just anecdotally, I feel like this doesn't improve safety, but I do think we have to follow the regs, and we've had a traffic consultant take a look at it and
Yeah.
give us the advice. So there you have it. Sometimes the work of the federal government is
Moves in
hard to figure
strange
out.
ways.
But I also, it's my impression that the code simply doesn't envision this situation. It's probably, I don't know how common it is across the country. I know of another place right here in Westchester County that's very similar, but, it just doesn't envision it. But the truth is, I don't really see, I don't stop because there's a stop sign. I stop because
You want to see if there's
you want to see if somebody's coming. And I think most drivers who approach that space know that that's a one-lane tunnel, and even if you don't, you can see it, and you proceed slowly,
Right.
cautiously, you stop. And I think any kind of good signage that we have that will comply will be just as safe.
Right, and
Well, I
so,
think you have to look at the whole package, is that
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying is right, Joe. You know, we're not traffic experts, we're not energy experts either, but, you know, I'm just saying.
But not every discussion about it.
What are we?
you know,
That's the
with-
question we
with
have to
the-
figure out.
With the whole, with the whole package that, you know, there may not be a stop sign, but there is, that this is a one-lane tunnel. We don't have that now, do we?
there are plenty of warning signs
Yeah.
in the new package
We
of
have
signs.
it on one side, but
so-
not the other. So this will be, you know,
So
there'll be enough visual.
I actually think it's going to be an improvement if we go the whole 9 yards with what was recommended with, you know, the lanes merging and the signage that it is a one-lane tunnel and that, you know, I don't know how we
Yeah.
can, I did not realize that the right-of-way comes off Sunnyside, that you have the right-of-way. So, but how do you get that
Well,
communicated?
You don't. What'll end up
Yeah.
happening is if there's a line of cars coming through at a certain point in time, they'll just funnel through. You know, you're not going to have the old alternate cars like you have now with the stop sign. It won't control that way. So you may have to wait for 3 or 4 cars to get through before you can go.
But it's 3 or 4 cars.
Right. I mean, you know what? It's all.
And you know, everybody who uses that's been using it with the way it is
Right.
now. I bet everybody basically still does it the same way they do it now.
Right. I imagine it will work rather the same way it does now, and I in my day job, occasionally find myself thumbing through this fat Bible of regulations and look this up, and, you know, among the things that are permitted under the federal regulations would be an expensive traffic light system with, you know, sensors and all of that, and that clearly is
A little overkill, maybe.
not only an expensive venture, but I think one that would actually be more annoying than it is helpful.
Right, stopping at a
right,
light
yeah.
and waiting a minute and a half
Right.
when no cars are coming through,
Right.
but you have to wait because you're at a stoplight.
For the light to figure out that there's nobody on the other end and that
Yeah.
you can go.
Right, and the expense
So-
is just,
At any rate, I certainly am convinced that the proposal given to us by the traffic consultant, which fulfills the federal regulations, will be okay, and we should clear this little bit of violation of the federal standards. Anybody else? have-
Good?
I'm good.
All right. So that matter is included in a resolution later in our agenda. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So much.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're done. Now we can go to the resolutions. Steve, number 70.
Resolved that pre-check register dated April 27th, 2015, covering pre-check numbers 80324 through 80432, has been reviewed, and they are hereby approved as listed below from the general fund, the water fund, the capital fund, the refuse fund, the pool fund, the trust and agency fund, and the trust and agency fund, for a total of $408,157.68.
Is there a second?
second.
Any comments or questions about the check register?
I have one as my
Your-
weekly
your
meeting,
weekly
my
question.
check register inspection. Are we done with salt now? I thought last meeting we talked about this,
I know,
and you said we
I
were
saw
done with
that
salt,
too.
but we have more in here for another $16,000-$17,000. When are we gonna get another bill for salt? When are we done with
No,
salt?
we are done with salt for now. The salt shed is full and ready for next winter.
So was what
Jeff
we
likes to
spent
do
this
that.
past month to bring us up so we're ready
Right,
for
you
next
have
year?
to leave your salt shed full.
You do?
Yes.
Leave
Well,
no salt shed.
You know,
Well-
you never know if the winter starts early and there's a shortage. Last year we had lots.
Not
of
for nothing, it
problems.
snowed last week.
Yeah, I was just
Ever
gonna
so
say, I
slightly,
didn't know if that
yeah.
was
It
because
snowed
of-
last week.
Crazy.
No, we are finished.
we're done. All right.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Thank you.
And I'm glad we bought it. You know, I mean, it's better to do it now. The rates go up every year.
Yeah,
Right.
Most municipalities will
They
leave
stock it
their-
this spring?
Yeah.
All right. All in favor of check register?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Mindy, 71.
It's not me for once. Resolved that the Board of Trustees has reviewed the minutes of the meeting held on Monday, April 13th, 2015, and they are hereby approved. Those are the said minutes that Joe was just talking about for you to refer to.
Is there a second?
Second.
So, again, as Mindy and Joe commented, as did I, there is a summary of the comments of Mike Gordon about the Community Choice Energy Aggregation Program. And those minutes are found on the web in the backup of our agenda, right?
Yes.
So if, the way to find them, if you want to read them, is to go to the meeting calendar and double-click on our meeting of tonight, April 27, and you will find those minutes. They eventually find their way to the minutes section of the website, but that takes a while, so,
I'll get them up
yeah.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. You should have them.
You're better off watching it on PCTV
I agree.
76.org.
I agree. It will be more interesting, I think, so. All in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Joe, number 72. Is this changed? This, it looks the same.
No,
No, it's
I
the
just
same.
wanted you to have that.
Okay,
because you have
I
to
see.
go scrolling
Understood, yes,
for-
okay. 72.
72, resolve that the Board of Trustees hereby approves a local law amending Chapter 173, Vehicle and Traffic, Section 173-57, Schedule Roman numeral 9, stop intersections / Sunnyside Avenue as follows. To delete a stop sign on Sunnyside Avenue in both directions of travel at the intersection with the railroad bridge.
Is there a second?
Second.
So this is the subject of the public hearing we just opened and closed. The resolution does not identify what we will replace that with, but no need to do that, I
That's
assume.
right, because
Right.
those are just warning signs.
Right, they are not stop signs, so.
That is correct.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Steve, the biggie, number
The biggie
73,
is
the
right.
budget.
You got
Okay,
it.
so this is the budget for the 2015-16 year. Whereas the village administrator presented a tentative budget for the fiscal year 2015 to 2016, and whereas the public hearing was duly held on April 13th, 2015 before the Board of Trustees, now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Pleasantville's 2015-2016 fiscal year budget is adopted as follows. Now, should I read you all of these?
I think you should,
Okay,
yes.
good. So the general fund expenditures of $14,669,933, special assessments of $9,456, omitted taxes of $6,855, a village-wide tax levy of $10,278,795, general fund non-property tax revenues expected of $3,849,827, general fund appropriated fund balance of $525,000 for an assessed valuation of $113,116,142. Actually, I shouldn't say for an assessed valuation. It is an assessed valuation in the village. Tax rate per $1,000 of assessed valuation is $90.8694, and a tax rate increase of 1.60%.
Is there a second?
Second.
So as Steve just described there near the end, the result of this is a tax rate increase of 1.6%. It is a tax cap compliant budget, which is important particularly this year because there is an opportunity for residents to get a small rebate back from the state if all of the relevant taxing entities stay within the tax cap. So we have done that here. Colleen, as you can see, is absent tonight and cannot vote on the budget, but she sent a note that she asked that I read into the record, which goes like this. Due to personal reasons, I regret that I'm not able to attend the village meeting scheduled for this evening, April 27th at 8 p.m. My absence at the meeting prohibits me from casting my vote in favor of the proposed 2015-16 fiscal budget. I'm in favor of this budget, which results in a tax rate increase of 1.6% and a village-wide tax levy in the amount of $10,278,795, based on weeks of input from our department managers under the leadership of our village administrator, Patty Dwyer, and the expertise of our treasurer, Mary Schwartz, and deputy treasurer, Noreen Regan. The proposed budget provides a fiscally responsible financial statement. The proposed fiscal plan has been carefully examined, analyzed, and reviewed, and results in a budget that stays within the tax cap, setting up favorable conditions for certain credits and refunds to resident taxpayers, and lays the groundwork for producing an efficiency plan that continues this board's dedication to ensuring responsible spending now and in the future. I am in favor of the proposed budget and urge my fellow members to vote aye in favor of Resolution 73, adoption of the budget. Colleen Griffin Wagner. So those are Colleen's comments in absentia. As mentioned, she wasn't able to be here tonight. So anybody else have?
So every year, I take it upon myself to read what we have to go through to get our tax rate, and it's quite an exercise. So I will do it again for And someone has to do this when I'm gone. So, Steve, you have
What?
to do this. So you start, in order to get the amount, like what we have to work with, what is our tax cap? You have to go through this, exercise that is really quite
Arduous.
ridiculous, yes. So you take your tax levy from your prior fiscal year, you multiply that by your tax base growth factor, which you get from the state. You add in any pilots, your payment in lieu of taxes. You minus out any tort actions exceeding 5% of the tax levy of the previous year. And you multiply that by the allowable levy minus the pilots. And then you begin your fiscal year, any available carryover from the previous year, and then you add that to your exclusions associated with growth, like pension costs, and that equals your tax levy limit. So that's what Mary and Noreen were charged with, and Patty, and you did a great job, and you guided us through that process, and I thank you for that very much, because that end number is always,
We just hope the rules don't change.
well, you
Yeah.
never know
I know.
what the rules will be.
Finally
So-
figure them out.
So, and in order to get that little rebate, we have to also submit a savings that equal 1% of our 2014-15 levy,
Right.
and show that we have savings that will carry over through 17, 18, and 19, the years 2017, 18, and 19, which I'm sure we'll be able to do.
I wanted to add something too. I didn't realize before I got on the board how much work and effort goes into these budget processes, and I'm sure at the school board it's the same. We kind of exist in Pleasantville, and we just, the numbers are the numbers, and we don't really ever come in contact with it. We see our mortgage statement when we file our taxes, and we go, what? And everybody complains about their taxes, but it's really important. I want to do a sort of a tip of the hat again to Patty and your team with the budget guys, because all of us up here, we sit through these meetings and we go through this stuff and we understand it to the best we can, but you guys are the ones that really sharpen your pencils and get us over the finish line. So it's an extremely complicated process, and everybody up here, I think I probably speak for everybody, where we take this very, very seriously. This is not a very what's the right word? We're not a flippant board when it comes to this sort of thing. I think we take the money very, very seriously. It's probably the most important element of what we do at this time of year. And it's important that people realize what goes into creating the budget, and that these numbers have been turned over 3 or 4 times to make sure that we're getting as capital efficient in the village as we can be. So I just wanted to say that, because I don't think we say it enough.
I agree, thank you.
And I have to
Steve.
fulfill Jonathan's
And to
railing on
think
it.
that, we do, it's really, we're here to supply essential services and maintain a quality of life through our parks, recreation, and other areas. And that's what this budget does.
If I might, Mayor, a piece that's always important to me is the appropriated fund balance, and I feel like that indicates whether we're moving in the right direction or the wrong direction, and I think because fund balance is saved money, and if you don't save enough, you can get into financial trouble, and if you save too much, you're holding taxpayer dollars unnecessarily.
Right.
And it needs to be at a right level. And we're appropriating $525,000, and still in all, we're going to have the right fund balance. We went over this in some detail, and I asked about it then, and I was pleased to hear that we have a healthy fund balance. It's not an excessive fund balance. We're able to give the taxpayers some of their money back, but the savings that we're seeing in bringing about a 1.6 tax rate increase, which is a small, it's lower than certainly our limit. They're real savings. They found ways, our people found ways to get things done more efficiently, get more done more efficiently.
Right.
We have better services than we've ever had before, and yet we're doing it at a more efficient rate, and I don't feel like we're moving in the wrong direction. I feel like this is showing us that we're moving in the right direction.
I mean, it's about the go-forward expected annual inflation rate. You gotta look at it that way for the next 12 months.
Everything costs more. You can't expect. I don't feel that we need to bring in negative tax rate decreases. Everybody understands that prices do go up, and there's going to be some tax rate increases, but small tax rate increases keep us in pace with inflation, at the same time, keep things in line and keep our services going at the high level that we've come to live by, and we expect and we like, and it's a really good budget for this village.
And most of our key costs, our core costs, have gone up a lot more than this. I mean, there's a rate of increase in some of our big ticket line items that is much higher than 1.6. So again, testament to you guys to be able to keep us flat like that.
All true, and I think it's, the occasion when we point out that turning back taxes, dialing them down, would be a consummation devoutly to be wished. The only way we get at the inexorable creep of taxes is to increase the tax base. A number of very useful things are in the offing, including the 68 townhomes that Toll Brothers will be building on Washington Avenue at the current Sawmill office campus. That will be a significant shot in the arm for our tax base at what we are quite confident will be a relatively low expense in terms of services. So those kinds of things are things this board is very, very much focused on, and there is no doubt that we need to see a number, at least in my opinion, there are a number of properties, especially in the downtown, that are not contributing to the tax base in the way they did a generation ago, and we're very much actively involved in, and will be in the coming year, in thinking about the ways in which we can potentially tweak our master plan, tweak our zoning regulations, and encourage some development in some areas that are currently under contributors, so to speak, to the tax base. So I totally understand that people are nervous about development, and I have said many times and will continue to say that what I imagine is Pleasantville scale development. We're not looking to see some massive project arrive, but what we do need is incremental development in various places, and there are a number of properties that are potentially in play right now, and quite a few people interested in potentially talking to the owners as well as the community about what might be appropriate development. So we have an awful lot of good things that have gone on in this village in the last 10 and 15, 20 years. This board is the recipient of a legacy from the community as well as previous boards that gives us a very, very, very good opportunity to set up the community for some appropriate development going forward. But if we have more people paying in, your taxes will be stabilized, and that's what we're aiming to do. All in favor of number 73, the budget?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 74, Mindy.
Sorry, I'm so stuck on the budget. But
It's the refuse,
74, resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the refuse rates for the fiscal year 2015-16 as follows. Each condominium unit, $337.53. One family residence, $450.04. Two family residence is a $675.06. Three family residence, $1,012.59.
Is there a second?
Second.
And although someone asked me the other day, so it's worth reminding people that we assess these as a separate item, both because, as you just heard in Mindy's recitation of it, the rates are different for the different kinds of units, but also because we do not pick up commercial trash, and therefore the commercial taxpayers are not subject to this fee, and so we don't fold it into the regular tax rate because it's levied only where appropriate. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Joe, 75, pool rates.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the pool rates for the fiscal year 2015-2016 as follows. There are rates through May 31st, 2015, and then slightly higher rates if you register starting June 1st, 2015. So they are as follows. Residential rates, the family rate is $400 through May 31st and $450 starting June 1st, 2015. Individual rates, $200 through May 31st and $225 starting June 1st. pay tag rate is $150 through May 31st and $200 starting June 1st. Senior citizens rate is $75 through May 31st and $85 starting June 1st. And the guest fee is $10 whenever, regardless of whether it's before or after June 1st, $10 for both. The school district rates, the family rate is $600 through May 31st, $650 starting June 1st. The individual rate is $275 through May 31st and $325 starting June 1st. The pay tag rate is $175 through May 31st and $250 starting June 1. Senior citizen rate is $100 through May 31st and $125 starting June 1st. And the guest tag fee again is $10, whether it's before or after June 1st.
Is there a second?
Second?
Couple of points to make. Someone also asked me why the school district rates are higher. The rate for someone who is in the Pleasantville School District but is not a resident of the Village of Pleasantville are a little bit higher than the regular residence rates because the school district outside the village folks are not contributors to the tax, to the village tax base, and therefore pay a little bit higher rate when they participate. But we have obviously lots of families who where kids want to all be going to the same pool, and so we're delighted to make that opportunity available to school district residents, same as is the case for sports programs for kids as well.
And in Mount Pleasant, village residents pay higher fees than Mount Pleasant residents as well.
Right, for the same
For the-
reason.
for the same
We're
reason.
each of us is contributing to a separate tax base. The other thing I wanted to mention is you have heard, if you are a regular watcher of these meetings, we are coming down the home stretch of a renovation in the pool house with renovated changing areas, showers, and bathrooms for both men and women, 2 new family bathrooms, which we have never had before, new outdoor showers, which are built on the outside of the building, which will give people a chance to hose off quickly if they are just looking to rinse off the chlorine, as well as new finishes, new floors, really much nicer overall look of things. The concrete is being poured this week for new sidewalks and resolution of the sagging pavers that have been on the way in. So this is the week when it all comes together, and come Memorial Day weekend when the pool opens, there will be some nice new amenities for all the members.
The senior citizen age is 62, correct? I believe.
You know, I don't know. I'll check on that.
I think it's 62. That's just, it fluctuates from municipality to municipality. Some are 65, some are 60, some are 62.
I know it's
believe
in
we're
our goal.
62.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor of the pool rates?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
motion approved, 76, Steve.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from Police Officer Morgan Cole Hatchard to attend an out-of-state conference, Spotlight on Fraud, in Montville, Connecticut, from June 4 to June 5, 2015, at a cost not to exceed $500.
Is there a second?
Second?
Looks like a good thing, sponsored by the Connecticut chapter of the International Association of Financial Crimes Investigators.
Now,
Who
it's
knew?
being held at Mohegan Sun. Do we need to put her on.
Morgan Cole Hatchard is, as you have just heard, a detective and also
Mohegan Sun. That's funny.
also our youth officer. So the agenda looks very useful. We're glad to have her go. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 77.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the appointment of Licia Albanese from Civil Service List, Office Assistant Financial Support, effective May 17th, 2015, with a delayed start of May 26, 2015, at a salary of $52,551, as per the rules and regulations of the Westchester County Department of Human Resources. Said appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 12 weeks to a maximum of 52 weeks, May 24th, 2016, due to leap year. Oh, that's interesting.
Is there a second?
Second.
So this is filling an open slot.
This is filling an open position, open competitive position in our finance department. We're delighted to welcome Leisha to our workplace. She comes highly recommended and with a very extensive resume in accounts payable and other types of ministerial financial functions. So we think we're going to be very well served.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. 78, Joe.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following budget amendments. $6,694 from Parks Full-Time to Parks Outside Services. $60,000 from Employee Benefits Health Insurance to Snow Overtime. $49,860 from Employee Benefits Health Insurance to Snow, Sand, and Salt. $11,240 from Bond Interest to Snow, Sand, and Salt. And $4,000 from Pool Equipment to Pool Utilities, for a total set of budget transfers of $131,794. And also appropriated fund balance general fund for the purchase of police and senior center vehicles, $35,000 into police equipment auto, and $35,000 into senior center equipment auto.
Is there a second?
Second?
So the first part of these are amendments where we're required to move money from an account that has a balance to cover an account that has a deficit. And as you just heard, Snow Overtime, Snow, Sand, and Salt is the primary recipient of those budget transfers.
This is all about the closeout of the 14-15
That's
budget.
correct.
This
Right.
is not the new budget. This
Correct.
is wrapping up things under the at the end of the old
Right.
budget.
And then the second piece of it is to acquire a new police car and to replace the old Ford Taurus wagon that's used by the senior center, both to drive people around and is also used for the Meals on Wheels program. That Ford Taurus has served us well over a decade.
Well over a
It's
decade.
time.
What do we do with that vehicle, the old vehicle? It goes to junk, or do we go for sale? Do we sell it?
We'll
or-
auction it. We'll
Auction
auction
it?
it off.
Did we hear anything back on what that might look like, the new one?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We'll have some information for the next meeting.
Okay.
All in favor of 78?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. 79,
Oh, boy. 79?
approval to increase petty cash for the Justice Court.
Oh, that's you, Steve.
That's
big one.
be me.
Oh, that- I'm sorry. You know, I'm already ahead.
jumping on it.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request to increase the petty cash limits for the Justice Court from $100 to $200. This is,
Is there a second?
Second.
Does anyone,
That's
That's
groundbreaking.
like a 1957 motion.
Yes, I
$100
know,
to
but it has to
$200.
be done, yeah.
our night is complete. We've been able to,
increase
Take
the petty
action.
cash.
Thank
all
you.
in favor of number 79?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Number 80, here you go, Mindy.
Okay, this is
You're
a,
taking over the Jonathan role. of
Yes,
getting all of it.
well, I'm being very short and sweet here, and
All
I'm
right.
just gonna
Ruth.
say that be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville approves this bond resolution of the Village of Pleasantville, Westchester County, New York, authorizing the issuance of $425,000 in serial bonds to finance the purchase of machinery and apparatus for the Department of Public Works. As stated in the record, that machinery is a dump truck and a sweeper. And all of the facts are mentioned in this resolution, as I said, stated in the record. That's the best I could do. Patty, you want to explain
No,
it
that's fine.
further?
Yeah,
Is there a
this
second?
is-
Second.
Okay.
I'll
Thank you,
second.
thank you. This is part of our budget. This is our small capital plan for fiscal year ending 16. You already pre-authorized the sweeper. It has not come yet, and we've decided if it came, we'd pre-fund it with some fund balance, but fortunately, we can roll it into this serial bond. So, and Jeff had also proposed to you a large dump truck that we need to replace, one that I believe was over 14 years old, so.
Yeah, we got to
Um,
see that dump truck.
you did?
Yes, former trustee Cunningham and I, and there is no ignition in that dump.
So what's really good is that
Push
when.
the wires
when-
together.
Just push it.
When we incur this debt, we actually won't incur any additional expenses because we've refunded a considerable amount of money this year, and we saved on our refinancing of debt in an amount equivalent to what this would cost. So it's basically a wash. It brings 2 new large pieces of equipment to our fleet, and that's efficiency. I'm very
Yeah,
excited about
it's
that.
well done. Yeah.
We're currently operating without a functional street sweeper, and the law actually requires that we sweep the streets
Yeah, it does.
in the purpose being to reduce the amount of debris that gets washed into the storm sewer system. So, all in favor?
Hold on.
Oh,
Patty,
sorry.
what's going to be the size of the aggregate?
Sorry?
What will the size of the aggregate bond be when this is rolled in?
2.2, I believe. I
2.2?
think 1.8 was open.
Yeah, I
In the
think it was
band, I
1.8.
think it's 1.8
Now we'll
in the-
put
in the
4
bond
on it, so
anticipation
2.2,
note.
2.5. Will it be, what maturity do you think that will go?
It'll have a variable schedule, but typically, some things are 10 years in probable usefulness, so it has a graduated schedule. I don't know it yet.
So will the bond be in multiple pieces, or will we have one?
It's one bond, but it will
There's
have
multiple
different
maturities.
payments that will fall out over the years.
Okay,
Typically, we go 10 to 15 years.
that's
We
what I
don't
thought.
go
I think
beyond
the
that.
depreciation on the sweeper is 8. I remember
Probably.
we had that. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved, and we have one new agenda item, resolution number 81.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the appointment of Lyndon Camley to the position of Assistant Building Inspector effective June 1, 2015, at a salary of $72,897 as set forth in the CSEA contract. As per the rules and regulations of the Westchester County Department of Human Resources, there is a mandatory probationary period of not less than 12 weeks to a maximum of 52 weeks.
Is there a second?
Second?
Patty, you want to
Oh,
describe?
sure, yeah, I'd be happy to. The board had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Camley this evening. He will join our building department as part of a reorganization. He comes with a tremendous amount of experience in the trades. He was professionally a carpenter for close to 20 years. He has experience in a local building department. He'll be joining us on June 1st at the start of our new fiscal year. So we're excited to have that additional support, given all of the level of activity we expect to see in the village in the coming years.
It's a very exciting
It is.
addition and change.
And much needed, I think, so.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Welcome Lyndon Camley to the Village of Pleasantville. That is the last of our resolutions. Is there any new business or further announcements?
Just a reminder, we're looking for people for our planning commission and our ARB.
And if you are interested,
Resumes too.
resumes, expression of interest can come by email to Patty or Judy. Both of their emails are available on the village website, pleasantville-ny.gov.
Got a budget, Judy.
I have a final announcement. I'll throw one in there. It is going to be, I believe, the 4th great annual duck race.
Aha,
The Pleasantville swim team will be doing another duck race in the creek along the back of where the pool is. The ducks will be on sale at Pleasantville Day. We're going to have a big booth there with the big yellow duck on the roof.
I love it.
Come by and get your ducks. I believe we're going to keep the prices the same. This is not going up, unlike everything else. So you'll be able to get a one duck for $5 or a family of
Family of quacks.
a family for 20, right? So please come out. It's a really,
It is
really,
the best.
really fun time. We have a lot of fun. The kids can decorate their ducks. They bring them there. We throw them in the creek. We'll see who wins. All sorts of fun prizes. And I think it's turned into a day that everybody really enjoys. So
It's packed.
we're doing it again. Should be a lot of fun.
It is, thank you
thank you for doing that.
it, yeah.
It is our 4th one, right?
Yes, I think
That's
so.
amazing. Oh my God.
It is.
With
good.
that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Good night. See you in 2 weeks.